Did you want any paper or notes or anything?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
For the most part.
Okay.
As long as you're kind of corralling me in the right direction, we'll probably be fine.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. All right. Well, welcome, Drew. This is the What I Eat in a Day podcast. Here we talk about all sorts of different health topics and health perspectives. And here I know that you have a very, very interesting health perspective because you actually have a secret project that you've been working on.
So I just kind of I was watching a video about bacteriophages at one point, which if Ryan kind of wants to help me add details for, it's basically like a virus that's kind of, it attacks like a specific bacteria and it attacks specific parts of it. It's kind of like a super predator, but for bacteria.
No, I think that explains it well. So if we go deep into it, we have viruses and then we have bacteria. Both are, they can be bad for humans. But there are these things called bacteriophages. There you go. I'm getting the pronunciation now. And they specifically target bacteria. Now, one of the big issues in society is that we take a lot of antibiotics, and because of that, we have a lot of bacteria that's now antibiotic resistant. And correct me if I'm wrong at any point.
Yeah,
we've both studied.
I think off the top of my head, I want to say this is kind of scary. 20 years ago, there was 120. Maybe it was even 10 years ago. Now there's only 90 that still work.
Oh,
so yeah, it's that scary.
Like only 90 antibiotics that work.
Yeah.
Oh dang.
90 big ones. I'm probably off a little bit on the numbers, but the scale's kind of
yeah. So they're developing immunity fast,
and there's not very much money in the pharmaceutical industry to actually go out and research new antibiotics and try and pump them out and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Just because a lot of companies are kind of okay, well, we already have these ones. Let's keep selling them until something bad happens. So it's kind of, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of on a need basis, not really solve the issue in the future, for the future kind of perspective.
Yeah, so it's kind of scary a little bit.
Okay.
But what's kind of cool about bacteriophages is that they attack a specific aspect of the bacteria and just kind of take advantage and use that to get its way in and just kind of literally go into the bacteria's genome, replace it with itself, and then it starts printing out copies of the bacteriophage until it explodes. And it kind of works by attacking specific aspects of the cell wall, what kind of chemicals and stuff are used on the outside, how they're kind of set up, that kind of thing. And antibiotics actually sometimes kind of target those. But with bacteriophages, they can evolve on their own, which is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. So if the bacteria starts to kind of build up a resistance, the bacteriophage is a living thing, well, debatably, but it'll try to evolve to keep attacking its prey as the predator, so it'll keep trying to kind of go on its own, which is kind of cool.
So it's kind of this arms race concept where you have the bacteriophage and the bacteria, and they're constantly developing new defenses against each other.
Yeah, so instead of people having to sit in the lab and find antibacterial antibiotics that they can use, a bacteriophage is just kind of doing that as its way of living, just because it kind of needs to.
It just naturally evolves.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But where the kind of secret project kind of comes in is that with CRISPR, which you'll have to correct me a little bit on the terminology and stuff, but basically it uses a bunch of different tools to go in and start editing genes. Mm-hmm. And we can kind of also store genes and look at them digitally. And what's kind of cool is that we can look at, okay, so these are the chemicals on the bacterial wall that all these bacteria have in common, and every single one of them are susceptible to this bacteriophage. So we can kind of go okay, so if this cell wall is kind of similar between all of them, then it's probably attacking this. So we can kind of go, okay, so this part of the bacteriophage genome is attacking that type of cell wall. Mm-hmm. And then we now know that every single type of bacteria that has that type of cell wall can be attacked by it.
So you're you're talking about like discovering the genes in the bacteriophage that specifically target, or like what causes them to target certain bacteria and not others.
Yeah. And on top of that, you're doing that at the same time with the bacteria too, where you're like, okay, so this gene produces this type of cell wall. And so you can then literally like take if there's like an outbreak or something, you can literally take like the genome of that bacteria, put it into a database if this all works out, and then it'll spit out, here's the vulnerabilities it has, here's the bacteriophage genes that can combat it.
Oh,
so like,
okay.
Yeah.
So you can like design an AI to like customize a bacteriophage to the bacteria based on like, just saying, okay, we know what these genes do, and thus we're going to give it these abilities. Okay.
Yeah. That's really cool.
That's cool. I like that.
And then with CRISPR, what's kind of cool is that the technology is kind of shaping up for this. I'm not completely familiar with it. For me, it's more like the software side of this that's really cool to me. Not necessarily like the in-action biology aspect, which is kind of why I went to Ryan a little bit ago to kind of be like, hey,
do you want to talk about your background a little bit, like what
you're
into?
Yes, yeah, I should do that. Okay, so my parents kind of sat me down in front of a computer when I was 4 and were like, as long as your sisters say it's okay, go ahead. And that kind of just led me down playing video games a lot. And what kind of fascinated me was just like NPCs and stuff like that in games where like the game almost feels alive because the AI is designed so well. So like a little impressive thing is that like in The Sims.
Oh, The Sims, yes. I love The Sims.
The way that it works, which is really cool, is that obviously you know that The Sims have like motives, like their hunger and stuff like that. Every item on the lot that they're on kind of advertises, okay, so here's like, this will give you like 5+ hunger, it's this distance away, and so on and so forth. And then it kind of like ranks things, and it's like, okay, so I'm very hungry right now, so I'm gonna not fill my social media, that kind of thing. So just based on like the math of like trying to fill a number, you get behavior that kind of acts human, which is kind of crazy to me.
So you get like these concepts where it's like, okay, I want to do this, I'm getting low on this measure, but I really, really got to do this. So like prioritization and like logical thinking.
Yeah, and it's literally just a formula.
Okay.
Like literally a mathematical formula, which is really cool. And there's like a couple of invisible motives. Like what was kind of cool is that the traits are motives. So like say that someone is like a charismatic, they have like the charismatic trait. They'll be drawn to like objects, kind of will advertise, okay, so like this, or I guess people in this case, will kind of advertise, okay, so this move that you can do on them will fill this much motive for like your charisma. And so that makes the sim more drawn to like start doing social interactions without being told to do social interactions, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So this was like the basis for your, I guess, focus on computers.
It was just one of the things where like, it was mostly games like, I guess, the Lego games, which is kind of funny because like the NPCs in there kind of have cool behavior, and the Sims and stuff like that, and even Minecraft AI, like the zombies and stuff. When you actually get into it, it's these really, really simple things that are kind of like causing really complex behaviors. And so that kind of got me down the rabbit hole of just like AI.
Okay.
And so I played Roblox a lot as a kid, 2011 onward, I think. Yeah. And then I started making games around 2017, and my goal was to kind of like just make games that had like emergent, cool little like mechanics, like a crafting system and like the world map kind of go together to like make it so that factions start forming without any rules or game or like program stuff for that. And then obviously like one thing after another. In about 2018, I think, there was this thing called AI Dungeon, which was like very early language models. So like proto ChatGPT, where like you would basically have like a 20 message conversation and it would be somewhat coherent. Coherent enough. Yeah. But then after about 20 messages, it would just start going crazy and hallucinating. Just like repeating phrases over and over again. Like, for example, you might have been like, doing like a battle or something, and it would go, you swing your sword, you swing your sword, you swing your sword, and then it would do that every single time you tried to send a message.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was kind of cool to see that build up over time, and just kind of like see it get better and better. I remember there was this one like video that came out where this guy basically told an AI, this was probably around 2018, 2019, something like that. Still kind of rudimentary,
Yeah.
but it made like a Batman comic.
Really? Okay.
But it would say things like the Joker says, I drink anarchy, you drink water, that kind of thing. Like weird stuff that doesn't make any sense. Two-Face flips Alfred for some reason, and then and then decides to go home because he lands on his head. So it's like it didn't really make sense, but it was kind of interesting to see like it go from like just kind of like evolving in a bunch of different ways to kind of until we get to like now where ChatGPT can like look at, if you like take a screenshot of your like engine or something, there's something wrong with it, it can help you troubleshoot like a mechanic, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Like how, like just breaking it down into the fact that it's an algorithm.
Yeah.
It's formulas. It's like, you know, like all the way down from, or like you take ChatGPT, you take the Sims. It's all formulas.
Yeah, it's really cool because like, there's kind of like the angle where like you're just taking like really really cool like aspects of humanity or whatever and like breaking it down to numbers. But I kind of find it fascinating to kind of like have a system that behaves on its own. And when I think you mentioned health issues a little bit earlier. Yeah. So I had health issues for a couple of years. So I was kind of like just kind of stuck up at my parents' house for like a couple of years, just kind of like recovering, dealing with medical issues, multiple. And then I came up here and I was like, okay, I'm going to make the absolute most of it.
Yeah.
And so I had kind of like been messing around with AI a bit, just kind of like talking to language models, breaking them a little bit. Cause you know, I had seen the early stuff. I knew what kind of made them snap. So it was kind of cool to be like, feel the outer edges of the system, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And so
you had this opportunity to just focus on AI, and I guess this is where the project sprang into.
Yeah, so this was last September. So, or no, August or something. I was like, okay, I don't want to go on like Messenger and start talking to Meta AI or whatever. So I kind of wanted to see if I could run it locally because I knew that AI Dungeon, you could have ran it locally. So like on your own computer. Which is kind of cool. And I went and did that, and then I found the rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, this is actually really fun to set up. And oh my gosh, like when I'm programming, I can actually import the AI in there and have it like spit out text, which my program can process and do stuff. So like,
that's way cool.
So for example,
so it's like offline AI.
Yeah.
Oh,
and so
I need to do that.
You can give it like logic issues, like for example, are there any people mentioned in this, and if so, who? And then it'll spit out like a list of people based on like how you engineered your prompt. And then your code can like split it into pieces, and now you have a list of names, which is really, really cool.
Okay.
And then from there, I went down the rabbit hole more and more of just like going down different types of AI. Like there was mostly natural language processing stuff, which is like looking at like a piece of text and being able to make guesses based on it. So there's like this AI model made by like a group that makes a package called like Spacey. A package is like something that you import into your code to kind of give it like a tool basically. And their model can like look at any sentence and guess, okay, even if like there's like nonsense words, like a word that it's never seen before, it'll be able to know, okay, so this is a noun, this is a verb, this verb is connected to this noun, that kind of thing. And it's just really cool. And then there's embeddings, which is kind of like where my latest like interests have lied, where like you're basically taking like I'm kind of tempted to bring out my tablet, but they won't be able to see it. Yeah, so imagine like a 2D grid where like words that are similar are near each other. So like orange, apple, grape, they'll be near each other.
You know, if you want, you can bring out your tablet, show me, and then in post we can.
Oh yeah. Actually, I'm gonna do that then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So I guess Ryan puts it up on screen. Whatever.
Yeah.
So you're looking at it. You'll notice that like, purple, blue, are also near orange. And if you kind of like think that would make it, if that doesn't make sense in your head, really, it's because that's on like a 2D like graph. It goes all the way up to like 300 dimensions instead of 2.
Wow. Okay.
I can't possibly think of that, but it's kind of cool because like the math works the same in 2 dimensions that it does in 300.
So
it's literally just like the
dimensions.
Pythagorean theorem to like figure out if 2 words are similar in 300 dimensions.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh,
It's
okay.
really cool.
So when you say dimensions, you mean like you have your first dimension, your second dimension, and then
Third dimension, fourth, all the way up to
all
300.
the way up to 300.
Yeah.
I can't
And
conceptualize that.
me neither, but like it's kind of cool that you can just kind of go, okay, so especially with like having made Roblox games as a kid, I know how to work with like 3D graphics, and that's on like a 3D grid, so I can kind of use that and like just 2D geometry class from like freshman year or whatever to kind of go, okay, so I understand this when it's this small, and I know that just kind of scales up, so it's yeah.
Okay.
Now, what's cool is that like going back to the project is that genetic codes are just letters.
Oh, that's true.
Natural
This is
language
true.
processing can fit. So like it can literally look at like a pattern of numbers. I mean a pattern of letters as if it were like coherent sentences and just kind of make guesses on that. Which means that like using stuff that we have right now, you can kind of start making systems for this, which is really cool.
So you're saying like coding DNA, where you can actually like take DNA and so like I remember reading this story like way long ago, like before there was AI, and they took DNA and literally coded it so it would come out as Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
And so like as even data storage, like just that concept is interesting. Like of course now you have to like think about, okay, what am I actually coding? Because you can go Alice in Wonderland in like in this like cipher, I guess a DNA
It's
cipher.
like not going to affect anything, but like
but like to actually like have the DNA like exude like some sort of property, I guess that's what we're getting into more, is actually like coding it.
yeah, which is something that like they're starting to come out with. Like there's gene therapies for like genetic diseases that otherwise had no cure or treatment, which is really cool. And so if you like turn that towards the bacteriophages, which can literally attack like any kind of bacteria, then you can basically start printing out, because viruses are basically just genes, but a little bit fancier. They have a little bit of protection when they're floating around, but for the most part, they're just genes. And so you can edit them out, and you can edit one in like a program's, and then kind of like just start printing them out, basically, more or less.
So literally programming viruses.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And like the goal, I guess, is to kind of like start tagging. Okay, so we know that this part of like a gene for like a bacteriophage out in the wild does this thing. So I'm gonna start like, people do that by hand already, to kind of like go, okay, so this gene does this thing, whatever. But like this would kind of be like trying to train an AI to know what's going on. So like the scientist is like going, okay, so the cell wall is made out of this material, it's getting all this data. And then from there, it's able to look at the genetic code and go, okay, so I think based on the fact that all these bacteria share these genes, and they all like have this chemical wall or whatever, I say that this gene is causing it. So you can start analyzing, okay, so this causes this thing, and you can train AI to start looking for that pretty easily.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So using AI to like identify what genes do what.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, like, I guess explain the overall concept of your project a little bit more. Like, I don't know, because I know you said that there were some things you wanted to like not share with the public about it.
There's some things where I'm just kind of like, I don't want it to be I kind of want it to stay in like academia, I guess, a little bit at first, just so that way it's kind of a little bit less short-sighted, I guess, if that makes sense. And so there's like some details that I'll probably leave out, but the basis is basically like a shared like database that has all of that information. And rather than like an individual person sitting there having an AI continually analyze the bacteria for like hours or whatever, there's constantly like I don't know how many people are familiar with how Bitcoin actually worked.
Well, why don't you explain that concept?
Okay, yeah. So the idea is that the guy who made it wanted like a digital currency that's kind of like shared across like an entire network, the blockchain. And the way that works is that everyone's doing like the details are a little bit fuzzy because that's not my domain per se, but like point is though, you get a Bitcoin from proof of work, which is doing a bunch of math, which makes it so that the currency actually has worth because people are doing actual work to get like a Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
And so this proof of work thing, it's basically like a bunch of people buying like graphics card farms or doing it on their own when they're not home, not working, and they get a little bit of money, right? So if we do this with like the bacteria and bacteriophage, like analyzing AI, then you basically have like a bunch of graphics cards on standby to do this work on demand. And the reward that people can have is that like in this database, because they found the vulnerability in the bacteria and matched it with like a thing that a bacteriophage can do or whatever, they basically have the ability to like patent it through like the system where like they get like just automatically without having to do any work, they now get money every time it's printed. Just kind of like a little bit of passive income. So kind of like that same philosophy of Bitcoin where you're monetarily like encouraged to do it. But because it's through this system and I'm the one making the network and I get to pull the strings a little bit, and I'm more on the side of like trying to limit how much it's driven by like financial stuff. There's kind of like limits on how much you get for the like royalties that you get.
Yeah.
So like you're not gonna get bankrupt people doing it, but like let's say that there's a pharmacy like the one that we have down the street.
So before we get into
Oh,
the
yes.
part, so if I were to like explain this, so I understand. So correct me when I'm wrong.
Yeah, no.
But so you have like multiple computers with multiple graphics cards, and what you're saying is that it's like the Bitcoin concept where you have like each computer, I guess, simulating or analyzing the bacteriophage.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have each computer using AI just to analyze up the bacteriophage, figuring out what genetics are causing what to happen.
Yeah, and it's all happening passively, which is kind of cool.
And it's all passive, meaning like no human has to like look over its shoulder, or I guess
mean,
like now and then, like
when they're actually like putting it into a person to kill an infection, they probably should.
Oh yeah.
But like for the most part, like the system that's like looking for vulnerabilities and like basically like mining for it, which is what Bitcoin mining is. It's like literally mining math equations, I guess, whatever. But this would be like mining for vulnerabilities in bacteria and like things that bacteriophage are attacking. And like through this database, somebody can like get a royalty, I guess, if those vulnerabilities are added, but that's kind of up for debate. But the real magic is putting those two things together. So it
incentivizes other people to run the analyzation. Okay.
Yeah, and if everything is set up right, like let's say that there's like a third world country where they don't really have access to like antibiotics and stuff like that, but they have access to the internet, they have access to the printing technology, then they might pay like 3 cents per like ounce, basically, right? That's not that's not much, but like that adds up over the course of like the entire world using it.
Okay.
Which, because like any doctor can just go in and order like, hey, I'm printing out 3 ounces, so I'm gonna pay like I guess 9 cents there, right? That adds up over time because it's so easy to just go in and get the bacteriophage gene and print them out.
So you're talking about actually like printing the virus now.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does that work? Because I know we've talked about like, okay, getting the right virus, but how do you like say, okay, we want this virus to like be printed and get it like an ounce of virus?
Yeah. So that's where I kind of like came to you to kind of like find either if you had experience in it or like other students who kind of have experience in it. But the idea was kind of like the same like science that's happening behind like gene therapies, where someone's getting like a little bit of like, I think CRISPR is at least sometimes, if not like usually, like a literal virus going rampant through someone's systems, changing their genes, which is kind of cool.
Interesting. Okay.
It's the same.
Actually don't know if that's
don't 100%. Yeah. But point is though, they already have like out in the field for like gene therapies and stuff, points where like it's literally just a gene, like a virus being printed to begin with. And so like the technology's already there. We just need to kind of like have this like architecture around it to kind of like make it so that it's like really effective for just getting any disease that pops up. Because like, let's say that there's an outbreak somewhere, somebody like a doctor somewhere is going to get like the genetic code for it. They're going to put it onto there, and now it basically has a bounty on it. And so all of those miners happening in the background or whatever will start mining that bacteria's gene for vulnerabilities and trying to find like the best, safest ones.
Okay.
And I forgot to mention, like it also lists like side effects of like the bacteriophage being used in a person. Because like obviously humans are cells too, just a lot of them. But
so like, would there be a negative effect on humans? Because I mean, we can get infected by viruses, of course. I mean, we get the common cold all the time.
Typically, no, just because like there's viruses that specifically target humans, and there's ones that target bacteria, and they're kind of like they're pretty distant on the family tree.
Okay.
Just because like
so just making sure they remain that way.
Yeah, making sure that they don't jump somehow, or like whatever the bacteriophage is doing inside of the bacteria causes like chemicals to spill out of the bacteria when it explodes that like make people sick, that kind of thing. And so it's like doing that, and then there's like an algorithm or like handmade like genes at that point where like they're like, okay, so this is going to cause this issue. There's this vulnerability, and this thing attacks this vulnerability. So you're kind of putting it together. And you're like, okay, so this is the best thing the best thing that we can use on this infection.
Now, I'm trying to remember the name off the top of my head. I just got done of last semester basic biology, but I think it's eukaryotes and prokaryotes, like the types of the types of cells. And I think prokaryotes are the bacteria, and then I think we're eukaryotes.
Yeah, and so like if it's a bacteria that affects like eukaryotes, then you should probably keep an eye on it. Like.
We might have to fact check me on that. It's been a little while.
Yeah, so it's like the details are a little bit fuzzy, but for me, it's more on like the AI software infrastructure side of it.
Yeah.
And so that's where I kind of like came to Ryan, and I was like, "This is really cool. Do you think like this is like kind of possible, right?" And so he kind of like started linking me to people and stuff like that. But for the most part, like. All of the logic checks out. It's just a matter of how easy it actually is to sit down and make the technology for. Like, was it you who was saying that you worked on CRISPR a little bit?
I worked on it a little bit. We have a lab here on campus, but I'll have to say that like the biology was beyond me. Like I didn't understand what I was doing, but I could pipette and I could follow the instructions.
Which is always
so I worked with CRISPR. Did I understand it? Not at all.
Like you'll notice that like a university might have it, a lab might have it, but like there's not really any hobbyists that have CRISPR at their house because it's freaking expensive. So there's walls there where like that's where I'm worried about. Or it's kind of like I don't know the technology behind like printing out virus like. When CRISPR uses viruses, again, I don't remember if it always does it, just because I'm a little bit behind. I think like I want to say around 2018 is probably when I like went down the nerd rabbit hole of CRISPR a bit. So like I'm probably a little bit outdated. I remember them using viruses. I don't remember if they've stopped doing it just because like their side effects. But yeah.
Before we delve into that a little bit more, I want to do an audio check.
Okay.
Just to make sure that. Okay.
And hopefully I'm like my flow is good though.
I mean, you're sounding good to me. Okay, everything's still running. We're at the half-hour mark, so.
Nice.
If you start running out of things to say, just let me know. But I think we're going strong, so.
Yeah, so far so good. But yeah, and like I definitely think it's a really cool idea. I didn't go too hard into the specifics just because I didn't want to like reveal the secret sauce and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited to kind of see how it plays out. If it plays out, if I'm able to find people, if it goes anywhere. But to me, just like the whole concept of it is just really, really exciting.
Oh yeah, no, this is why I brought you on here, because I was like, wow, this is intense. This is like, I'm all for this.
Like
so.
In my head, when it was like coming into my brain, I was like, this is so freaking cool because the bacteriophages are like adjusting to every time the bacteria does. So we have like living antibiotics that like literally like evolve and adapt. So they're not like losing vulnerability and stuff like that. And they can only get so far before like they run out of food or the bacteria does a good job. But that's where like the like literally mining the bacteria's genes come into play. Because at that point you just whip up another bacteriophage and go at it, find another vulnerability. And as a bacteria loses vulnerabilities and its gene changes because of that and stuff like that, it'll get more vulnerabilities just as a byproduct. And so it's like a prey predator type thing where it's like literally computers all across the world mining that and doing simulations for it and stuff like that. So it's kind of
in preparation for this, I was watching a Kurt's Kurzat episode, and they were talking about bacteriophages, and they were saying how as the bacteria grows in immunity to antibiotics, it actually grows more vulnerable to bacteriophages. And then as it grows more, more resistant to bacteriophages, it grows more vulnerable to antibiotics.
Yeah, because it's like, it's not able to focus on both at the same time, especially if we're not using them at the same time.
Yeah. And
so that's why a lot of the times you won't see the same sorry, brain dropped. Sometimes, yeah. The same antibiotic used for like every single disease. They use it for specific diseases because it works better on that type of bacteria that's causing the infection. And on top of that, it's also to kind of like make it so that kind of compartmentalize it so that the bacteria is becoming immune to this specific one, but not this one. So like if this one starts to fail, then we can just throw that one at it. But like this is like a very automatic way to do that.
Wow.
And like it grows with the bacteria because like as the bacteria is like evolving like things against it, then you can just start using like, it's kind of funny because this is like God's beyond its comprehension, just analyzing like weaknesses that it has and then spinning up like a perfect enemy for it, which is kind of funny, I guess, a funny way to look at it.
That's cool. Yeah.
But yeah, as it's evolving against the bacteriophage, not a bunch of like computers all across the world, which is, they can't really compete with that. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I feel like.
So I have a question for you to sort of switch the topic a little bit. So you started going into this like within the past 3 months, and this is where it like really started to settle in. And leading up to that, you said you had some health difficulties. I didn't know if you wanted to like how much you wanted to go into that.
There's a couple of them. I think one that's for the most part they were like immune issues, back issues. I found out I have scoliosis this February. That was kind of cool actually because like I was like, this finally has a name. When my back goes out, I know what it is. And also I have medication for it. And when I go to the doctor, it's not like, oh, my back hurts. What can you do? It's like scoliosis, bend here, it's this many degrees, what can you do? That's really cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like all my health issues just kind of like made me look at health issues that way, where like you're kind of like trying to find the problem and fix it. Because then like once you know the problem, then you can attack it.
Yeah.
And so biology has also just always been like a, I don't know, I'm a huge nerd if you guys haven't noticed, right? But my interests are kind of all over the place. Obviously AI is what I want to do for work, especially like just like the software architecture side of it, like stuff happening on ChatGPT.com, or like like something that's really cool to me is like summarization systems right now. But I kind of like bounce all over, and one of the things that I like to go to is biology. And so I was like going down the rabbit hole because I got like the like craving for it a little bit, and it was like going through like I'm gonna have Ryan like put the link up or something to the guy's channel because his stuff is really freaking cool.
We'll absolutely do that.
Yeah, and so
it'll be on your face.
Yeah. It's one of them, for example, was like how like what's called insulin was like founded, and how it was like actually brought to market and distributed. So not just like how they found it happily ever after, whatever, but how they got it out to people, how they ensured that it wasn't going to be like used as like a bartering token against people who are sick and don't have any other choice. So it was literally like this race of these like people in, I think it was Toronto, I think. These like students at like or professors or something at a university, and they were like, okay, so we found this. We know that this could be held over people's heads. We know that there's going to be a huge impactful thing. Because like in the video, he literally goes over how we kind of like see diabetes in like a really trivial way now. But like looking back, if you think without insulin, that was scary.
It's like life or death.
Yeah. It's like someone would just, their type 1 would come out, or like something like that, and all of a sudden they would shrivel up.
Oh wow.
And just like they would lose tons of weight because their body couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Or like they would become overweight or whatever, and there wasn't really much people could do in 1910 about it. And one of the very few treatments that they had was like starving people and having very, very strict diets. And they found insulin. They isolated what causes diabetes and how to fix it, and they were like, this will literally bring people's lives back. Like they won't be spending their entire life dieting.
Yeah.
All the time. We're gonna give them their life back, and so to me that was kind of like cool, and like a really honorable thing to do.
Yeah.
And they even went a step further once they had like the people that they wanted to distribute it out to, and they were like really against like patenting the insulin and all of that, because they were like, this is something that everyone should have, but that's why they decided to do it. That's why I'm kind of deciding to do this and have the entire patent structure where like people get royalties. Because if we get to it first and like our goal is to kind of like do good by it, then we can kind of like, we have dominion over it because we got to it first and got the rights for it. And so I'm kind of like trying to engineer a system that kind of does that same type of thing. And then on top of that, when they got insulin out to people, they went further and further and further trying to find better ways to do it. Like at first, you had to do like 3 insulin injections a day. And it was literally like, I think it was pig insulin or like cow insulin or something, not even human insulin. And then they got it down to like, they did a bunch of like crazy stuff with the chemicals, got like an extended release. So one of the first like extended release medications. And so they only had to take it like twice a day. And then at some point, only once a day. And then at some point, like it got better and better and better.
So people actually like healed from their type 1 diabetes.
And so it's really cool because like they got to live out basically normal lives. And like to me, that like minimizing how much impact the treatment had on their life was really cool. Because like actually health issues, that's kind of cool. So I have Crohn's disease that runs in my family.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, and so that's kind of where a lot of my problems ended up coming, was IBS. There's like something in me, we don't know what it is, we won't find it until it gets bad,
You know something interesting? I actually used to have IBS.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to you about that definitely.
Yeah. No,
But yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
But yeah, so I want to say my freshman year. So this is kind of like where I don't want to get like too Debbie Downey on like that entire year, but basically, long story short, my mom went to the hospital in I want to say October, and she was in and out and in and out and in and out, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. And then eventually, at some point, they kept finding, I don't remember what the type of infection is called.
And she'd be okay with us talking about it.
Yeah, no, she talks about it. We're very open about our health stuff in my family, so that's kind of, yeah. And I think it was C-Diff. It was attacking her small intestine. But basically, no matter what they did, they tried like fecal transplants and stuff like that, which is kind of gross. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. I was actually looking at how to become a donor because they get a lot of money.
That's good to know. I probably wouldn't qualify, but that's good to know.
So let me talk to you about the fecal transplant donation process.
Yeah, that would be kind of good for them.
So if you don't know what fecal transplant is, it's basically where they take another's poop and they put that in you.
And like, it sounds really, really, really weird, but the idea is like, if somebody, and we'll go to my mom for this and why she needed it, and it'll kind of make sense. Her intestines basically were like chronically infected with C-Diff, and there was nothing she could do about it. And so the fecal transplant, the idea behind it was basically like something from the donor, like their like inner bacteria, their microbiome, yes, will kind of like replace C-Diff or kill C-Diff or otherwise just like kind of supersede it so it dies out. And so that's kind of what the philosophy behind that is. So a fecal transplant is literally a microbiome transplant, kind of.
And it's crazy to think that, back in the day, like they actually got this concept from ancient Chinese medicine. So there's this man, and he had this special soup. I kid you not. This is what I watched on TEDx. It was on the animation, and he had this special soup, and people would drink it and they would get better, but it tasted like crap. Mostly because it was crap,
But it fixed them because like microbiome, and that's also why this is kind of cool too. I don't know if the audience necessarily. This is something that I think about. You probably think about just as much, but like how much bacteria actually impacts us.
Oh yeah.
Not just like the counter's dirty, I'm gonna get sick or whatever, but also like your microbiome, the stuff that lingers around in your body, like the C-Diff with my mom, all of that stuff. And so that's where for me bacteriophage is like such a cool thing to deal with. Because you're able to like target specific bacteria. You're not wiping out the good parts of someone's microbiome. You're getting rid of like the bad parts.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Or like you're directly targeting an infection on their arm or something. Or like a monster outbreak that's never been seen before. Bam, within a day, we mine the genetic code for it. So like that, to me, the cellular world and our world are just really, there's really no barrier. Yeah. Except for like we can't see it.
Like the application, like what happens down here affects everything, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because because I had IBS, right? So originally, like I got surgery for one reason or another, and I went on some pretty heavy antibiotics, and of course, antibiotics they kill bacteria.
Everything. So that's why this is kind of cool.
Yeah, and so we're thinking this is what triggered the IBS, and so the doctor was like, okay, you know what? We either you have to take this pill indefinitely, or it's just magically going to go away as you take the pill. So either way, you have to take the pill.
A really funny story. I'll go into it in a second, though.
And so I was thinking to myself, is there any way around this? And I did some praying. I turned to God about it, and it was really cool because God led me in the direction to a naturopathic doctor. Now, going into this, I was thinking to myself, naturopathic doctor. This sounds like, you get like the chakras, you get like the blue hair, walking through the door with the beads, and I'm just going through all the stereotypes now. but that's what was coming to mind for me. And I was like, okay, you know what? If it works, it works. And so I went in, and this office, it's like a real doctor's office. It's like, she's professional, and even has bottles up on the counter, and they're not like weird little bottles of who knows what, but it's like actual
magic tonic or whatever.
No magic tonics, yeah, exactly. And it was like working with her. She put me through this treatment where I ended up having to like go on the FODMAP diet and work up. And I might be explaining this wrong, but working up the allergen levels of different things, as well as taking probiotics and
Prebiotics,
that sort of thing.
A comparison that I was going to use for the audience is that like you have to feed. If you have like sourdough starter, it's basically like a colony of yeast. You have to feed it, and based on what you feed it, it's going to do better or worse. That's the same for your microbiome.
I mean, pretty
much. So like that's kind of what his doctor was treating.
Mm-hmm. And it got to the point where it was like, you know what, I got better. Like she healed my microbiome. And like during that time where I had IBS, I was in pain. I was like, I was dying. Like literally, like I lost 20 pounds. I stopped eating, like just because it was painful to eat anything. And it was so bad. But now it's gone.
Yeah.
It's all because of bacteria. And so
that's what's so cool is that like the appendix, like the organ that we all think is like pointless, it's actually very useful in third world countries, because like if somebody has diarrhea, the whole point. Do you know what diarrhea is in the body?
No,
it's literally purging bacteria out of your intestines and allergens and particulates and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's literally it's like throwing up for your whole like intestine all the way through.
But the other way.
Yeah. And so it's literally trying to purge everything. And the reason the appendix even exists is to store good bacteria, to have like a colony of your microbiome for when it's done. Yeah.
Okay.
And so you kind of have like this backup. And that's what an appendix is. It's just useful to us because we live in a very like in a society where it's like you're gonna bounce back from that. You don't like worst case scenario, you have like a weird stomach issues. It's not the end of the world. Take Pepto, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But
like to our like ancestors out in the wild, like 100,000 years ago or whatever, that was freaking like vital to their survival. And so it's kind of like it literally dictated what they could eat, and just like it even like goes into the immune system too, because like the bad bacteria, it's not just like attacking your stomach or something. It spreads throughout the body. Bad bacteria can also like just output chemicals, not directly trying to hurt you, but like putting out chemicals that make you sick, just as a byproduct. So it's like
Dang.
So it's kind of
that's wild. And I think you have a story to share.
Yeah. So let's see, where was I? My mom had C-Diff. So yeah, I guess when it comes to like kind of like the microscopic world, I guess that was kind of like a very obviously I'd seen it as a kid. I was a nerd. I loved biology, all that stuff. But like for me, it was like right then and there. Like my mom was in and out of the hospital until I want to say April of that year, so October onward.
So she ended up getting a fecal transplant.
Yeah, she ended up getting a fecal transplant. Oh, this is where I was going with it. So she got a fecal transplant, I want to say that October or November. And then she was better for like probably a couple of weeks, like a month or something.
And by the way, nowadays you don't have to actually like directly eat the poop.
Yeah,
like,
they just kind of like put you to sleep and just kind of...
Like, I've heard it like where they take a tube and they down into your stomach and then they insert the poop from there.
Yeah, something like it's a lot more clean.
Like you probably know more about the process than I do.
Yeah, so it's like pretty much though. That's
you don't have to taste it.
Yeah, and like it doesn't really affect you afterward, except for your throat might be sore from having a tube down it. But colonoscopies, whatever. Oh, I've been through one of those and endoscopy. So that's how crazy my health issues get.
Oh dang, that's fun.
So yeah, and I guess like the C-Diff came back after that.
Oh,
and so then it came back again, and then at some point they were like, okay, so your small intestine. And so she has a colonoscopy. I mean, not what is it called?
A bypass?
Yeah, a colonoscopy. Yeah, there we go. Wait, no.
So,
Like, basically they cut off her small intestine. And so rather than it like coming out back here, her intestine, it comes out through the front of her body.
so she has a bag.
Yeah,
Oh.
because of the C-Diff. And so like,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. Oh wow. Okay.
And like where the Crohn's comes into play is that like, how autoimmune illnesses kind of work is that like her immune system was getting like really pissy about the C. diff, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But then it started getting really aggressive, and then it stopped differentiating. Okay, so this is like our host's cells. This isn't like a foreign like evil bacteria or whatever. Like this is part of us, and now we're causing issues. So the immune system starts becoming like an infection, killing itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of, and that can be triggered by things like C. diff. And just going back, if you think about it, this project that I'm working on right now, we could have targeted C. diff, injected it into like the fecal transplant or something, put the bacteriophage in down.
So this whole project that you're working on
Could have saved my mom's small intestine. And on top of that, because of the autoimmune illness that happened because of like the C. diff and I think shingles too and stuff like that, she now every 8 weeks. This is kind of where I was going into like the insulin.
Yeah.
Like where shots, like kind of minimizing it is kind of personal to me because my mom, it used to be that I think it was 2 weeks, she would have to get an immune sterilization shot.
Oh.
So, it would wipe out her system, and for the next couple of days, we couldn't hug her. We couldn't be within 5 feet. We had to social distance away from her in freaking 2018, which is just, yeah. And then over that week, we could go near her more and more, and then eventually give her a hug and stuff like that. And during the entire week, though, we would have to take a shower when we got up and when we got home. And every time we went out to like go with friends or something, we had to take a shower and change our clothes, by the way.
Dang.
And so like, yeah, it was kind of, so to me, this whole thing is just kind of like very...
So if I understand correctly, like you had to like protect yourself from actually getting C. diff.
No, other way around. Because like when she got the shot, anything could have killed her. The common cold,
okay.
yeah.
So like her immune system was just...
Yeah, basically non-existent.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that's how they kind of solved her immune system attacking her body, was literally shutting it off. And the shot was literally a modified chemotherapy. So it was literally a modification of cancer treatments.
So like they injected radioactive stuff into her? Or?
Not radioactive stuff, just like a chemical soup that targets things and starts wiping out things in her body. Oh. So it makes her really sick. So she would, every 2 weeks, go to a doctor, get a literal like cancer style like blood infusion, and then basically be sick. So she didn't have cancer. She had an autoimmune illness. But in order to stay alive, she had to do this to herself every 2 weeks. But because of advancements since 2018 all the way to now, she has to take it every 8 weeks. And we just have to not go near her for like 3 days and she's good. After that, it's fine. Yeah. And she jumps back a lot faster.
Okay.
Like within like 5 days or so, she's as if she's like she was in 2017. Or I guess it started in 2017, but you get what I mean.
So she's doing pretty good now.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's in basically remission. She still takes the shots because they're not willing to take the risk.
Yeah.
And I think we actually had a scare around Christmas time where her shot stopped working.
Oh, okay.
So kind of like the antibacterial thing, right? And so like they ended up figuring that out. She's fine now, but like that, I guess, lower layer where like for an entire 6 months, I think it was, I thought my mom was gonna die, just straight up, because of bacteria. Like she had her intestine removed, she wasn't getting better, all that stuff.
Okay.
Or maybe it was, it's kind of foggy. It was a very, you can imagine, not great time.
No, absolutely.
And so my brain kind of like doesn't like to make it easy for me to look back on it. But I remember this is how like personal, I guess, bacteria is to me, and like how it affects us, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that like literally for my birthday that year, I got to go see my mom in the hospital in a hazmat suit. So like that was cool.
Yep.
And I got to stand 10 feet away from her, and I hadn't seen her in 6 months. So it was kind of like, yeah. And so to me, I guess this is really cool. There's third world countries out there where like we could be fixing, we could basically be printing out cures for things that they can't deal with. And there are people who are a lot less fortunate than I am.
Yeah.
Where their mom was gone, and she lasted a lot less than my mom did, and stuff like that. Or like even like a child, especially children, honestly, and stuff like that. And it's just kind of fun.
So this has become a real passion project then, like.
Yeah, especially I guess in the past like hour, I've kind of like connected the dots, and I'm like, wait a minute, yeah. Now I realize why this is so personal and why it's kind of in my fabric. Is that I guess I just now kind of realized just how deep it goes. But yeah, it's kind of.
You know what I've realized over my life is that God he puts these dots in our life, and then at the end or at certain points you see how they all connect, and it's like, oh, if I didn't get sick with that, if I didn't learn that about bacteria, I wouldn't be the one to go help people with this issue. And in your case, it's
It's crazy how the stars kind of just align a little bit to kind of put me on the path, but yeah. Especially like I guess being sick for a couple of years is why I'm here now, because I originally started BYU Idaho in 2020. You can send. Do you mention the school name at all? Or?
I mean, you can if you want.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm okay with it. If you're okay with it.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I tried to go up in 2021, and then that's when things started going downhill for me.
Yeah.
And then it was around July of last year when it started going uphill, and I was like, I'm gonna make the most of it. And it just happens to line up with where AI is right now, and also the fact that blockchain has happened. We know the flaws of it because tech bros and stuff kind of, and stuff like that, and yeah. And I guess, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just about to wrap up, but if there's anything else you wanted to say?
I guess there's nothing that I can think of at the moment, but yeah.
Awesome. Well, Drew, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, and I hope to have you back on sometime and we can keep talking because this is awesome. This is like, I absolutely loved hearing your story, and your mother, she has to be a strong woman.
Oh my gosh, yeah, she is, honestly, yeah.
Like I'm listening.
She's been through a lot in life, and she's still here, and she calls me, checks if I'm okay. We joke around. Yeah. There's not like a cloud over where it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So she's that kind of strong.
That's awesome.
And that's kind of what I try to be, despite everything that does happen, like the scoliosis. I kind of saw that as an adventure, I guess.
That's a great perspective. No, dude. Thank you for sharing those stories.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. But thank you for coming, and thank you all for watching. And we'll be back to you next time.